Sacred Channels podcast, a podcast about a married couple watching TV shows and movies.
When we have time.
When we have time. When we're not dealing with kiddos and other life thingies. My name is Moose.
And I'm Jody.
We're the married couple aforementioned.
Yep.
Couple. Hi, Jody.
Hi.
Cool. Right?
Yeah, we're cool.
Let's get into some stuff. How about House of the Dragon Season 2?
Yes.
The spin-off from Game of Thrones. And I gotta say, you know, the first season was fine. The second season I thought was awesome. Like, really good.
Yeah.
And it was very like, you know, it was one of those shows where I like, oh, I'm looking forward to what happens next episode type of things.
Yeah, I liked it too. There was a couple times where I felt a little bit bored, but then it would reel me back in.
Mm-hmm.
So I liked it too.
Yeah. A lot of talking. But that said, you had a lot of dragon work. We'll call it dragon work. That is to say, when the dragons are involved and they're, you know, people riding them, dragons killing things, flame coming out of their mouths, all that stuff.
There's some tension in those scenes with the dragons. It's like I forgot to breathe a couple times.
Oh, yeah. Like when they're trying to see if people can ride the dragons.
Correct.
Yeah, that whole process. God, you know, watching it, you're getting kind of tense and worked up. Imagine the people who are actually like, okay, Bob, step forward. Let's see if the dragon likes you. Because if he don't, you get fucking lit on fire.
Barbecue.
Yeah, barbecued. So I'm guessing their tension's a little bit more palpable than ours. But
yeah,
I mean, that was interesting how, you know, Rhaenyra is, she's got dragons, but she doesn't have enough riders. So they figure out there's this kind of like backdoor way to get riders, which is certain people have the lineage in them, the blood, that should make them viable to ride a dragon.
They are illegitimate children of the Targaryen bloodline.
Yeah, because they were throwing it around all over the place over the years, especially in the brothels and whatnot.
Right.
But you had some interesting subplots going on there. Like, I don't know the one guy's name. He has the Targaryen hair. And he's got the sick daughter, and his wife's like, no, don't go anywhere. Stay here. You know, they had that subplot going for a few episodes here and there. And you're kind of like, why are we looking at this peon in the village who nobody cares about?
Yeah.
And, you know, him and his wife struggling to, you know, do what's right by their kids. Like, okay. But it paid off because it turns out he's one of the people chosen who has the bloodline. Chosen to test the dragon out.
Cool.
And it works.
Would you ride a dragon?
Yeah, if they'll accept me, if they don't flambe me.
That would be a crazy ride if it looks anything like it does in this show. That would be nuts.
In the show, I feel like they have not nearly enough strappings and support to keep them on the dragon. Like they're literally like sitting on essentially like a horse saddle.
Don't they kind of... Okay, I thought I remember this like from Game of Thrones. Like, don't they kind of have a spiritual connection with the writer and kind of, I don't want to say they communicate like telepathically, but they kind of just know where to go based on the writer. I don't know.
I guess they'd have to because
maybe I dreamt that.
No, I think you're pretty close to being right on that because they don't show when they show them riding and like turning. They're kind of leaning, but they're not doing a tap or a kick or there's no indication of like making the dragon turn.
Right.
With any physicality. So, or
reins or anything like that. Yeah.
They're just kind of holding on to a couple stirrups or whatever, but
like a saddle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's about it. So it has to be maybe some sort of, I don't know, connection.
I think so.
Maybe that's part and parcel of when the dragon accepts you as the riders. They feel like, I can connect with this dude or chick. So, I don't know. I guess, short answer, probably. But more than just the dragon fighting, you had a lot of, you know, politics going on and chess maneuvering.
Yeah.
The Rhaenyra Alicent thing kind of is interesting. Remember a couple episodes into this season, Rhaenyra visited Alicent in the Red Keep.
Yeah, in secret.
In secret.
She just wanted to have a chat with her, like mom to mom and like person to person here.
And she wanted to kind of talk some sense into Alicent, saying, you need to stop all this. You can stop this.
Yeah.
And Alicent's like, I can't. He's the true king and all that. And then the tables return in like the last episode, which I have the audio of here, where Alicent sneaks into Rhaenyra's castle to meet with her, essentially saying like, okay, it's all yours. I'm willing to, because she finally came to this, Alicent did a realization like, I don't want anything to do with this anymore. Remember when she went out in that little excursion where she just kind of floated in the pond for a little bit?
Yeah, she just like went to her lake house, I don't know, and like float around and had this like, this is what I want. I want peaceful life in the country. Don't we all? Yeah.
She finally realized like, I just want to chill and not be in the mix of all this fucking war and strife.
And so just the power grabbing and like, you know, the backstabbing and, you know, just how can you trust people? And then, you know, the people that they ruled over kind of revolted against them. So what's the point? Like,
So she comes to Rhaenyra under cover of darkness, but it says essentially like, okay, look, let's finish this. You can have the kingdom. And here's the audio.
No, still. You defend him. Still you imagine you can have all you want without paying too high a price. A price I have no choice but to pay.
Is to set things right.
If I am to take the throne, I must put an end to the opposition. I must take Aegon's head. And I have to do it for all to see. You know this. However you may try to evade it, you know this. Choose. Will you shrink from what you set out to do, or will you see it through and make your sacrifice? A son for a son. You are much changed.
Let us be done with this. Please.
And what do I do with you now?
You let me go to do what I promised. And you fly to the Red Keep in 3 days' time and you take your throne. Or you take me for a liar. I have neither weapon nor armor. My life itself is forfeit. I cast myself on the mercy of a friend who once loved me.
History will paint you a villain. A cold queen, grasping for power and then defeated.
Let them think what they must.
Well, she's willing to let Rhaenyra take her son's head.
Yeah, and ruin her reputation for all of history and the stories that people pass down through generations. And,
you would think she would not. She's not thinking about the long term on that. Like, let's say she does that, surrenders the kingdom, her son, Rhaenyra, you know, cuts his head off, all that.
Yeah.
She's probably not going to have a life of peace, you know? Even if she moves out into the woods in a cabin by herself, word will get around that she was the queen that surrendered her son, and there's no peace there for her.
I don't know. It's pretty remote. It's not a hugely populated world, you know?
Is it, though?
It seems pretty sparse and vast lands.
I mean, shit, they just send a crow message and, you know, within a day it's there. I don't know. I don't think it's as sparse. I think, well, let's say that is the case. She goes out in the middle of nowhere. That's literally her life is nothing.
Yep.
Just live out in the woods.
Yep.
Be an old hermit and make nice with the deer.
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's interesting some of the sacrifices like they're willing to make, and like I said, the politicking going on. And
I liked how she referred back to the fact that they were once very good friends, you know, and you know, they have obviously gone down different paths, and but now, you know, kind of comes back full circle. But
yeah. But it's been a very well done season of House of Dragon, and it's apparently got delayed because of COVID, and I'm sure the writer's strike didn't help. But
I think I just saw too, like season 3 in 2026.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's kind of a big show.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of work and locations. But
And did we find out, are they writing these as they go? Or is this based on material?
I'm about 70% certain it's based on pre-written material.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure of that. Don't quote me on it.
Someone needs to be a researcher for this podcast.
Yeah, right. We don't have the budget.
No, we don't.
Maybe we'll get AI on that. We'll get an AI researcher.
All right.
But House of the Dragon season 2, I think like season 1 was setting the stage. Here we see kind of what's at stake in the war that's brewing. Season 3, Season 3 looks like it's going to be the war.
Yeah.
Like whatever S hits the fan.
That's kind of where they left it here, right? Like,
right. Yeah, like
oh,
and can we touch on Damon, by the way?
yeah. Played by Matt Smith.
Yeah, Matt
from
Smith.
The Crown.
From The Crown and from Inspector Who? Doctor Who?
Doctor Who?
Inspector Who. But
I was thinking Inspector Gadget, and then I started singing that theme song.
Right?
Yep.
But he's an interesting turn for Damon. Like, he's always kind of had this, like, I'm not going to go with what everybody wants. And I want to do my own thing. He has his own aspirations. And, you know, he wanted the crown. He even married the rightful heir, Rhaenyra, his niece.
Yep.
And then he went to Harrenhal,
Yes.
which is all dilapidated. And the what's her name, Alice Rivers, you know, gave him that potion that gave him the loopy brain where he's imagining stuff. And it seemed like Damon was going to be, you know, gonna butt up against Rhaenyra, but lo and behold, it turns out he is bent the knee and pledged his allegiance to his wife, the rightful queen.
Well, can we spoil why that is?
Oh yeah.
Well, because he saw the future touching the tree and saw the White Walkers and what was to come, and like figured out what was going to happen, and that, you know, the Targaryens need to be on the throne in order for people to survive. So.
Right. Yeah, it was either that he saw the Targaryens need to be on the throne, or I think he realized that there's no point in, you know, this infighting when it's all going to end up humanity against a bunch of friggin' ice zombies anyway. So I got a good thing going for the Rhaenyra and the dragons. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's effing go is what he said.
Oh my God, stop.
I know, that's the worst, right?
Yeah, why did you do that?
Because I wanted to.
Disappointed.
But yeah, Damon, it seemed like there's going to be, they're setting up like this kind of infighting, like, and not only is Rhaenyra going to fight Alicent and all those idiots in the Red Keep, but the Greens.
Yeah.
But she's also got to fight Damon, who's going to solicit and build his own army. And it's like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, from other, like, villages and people around Harrenhal. And it's interesting because all of them understand that if they go through with that, it's a big cost. Like, there's going to be a lot of lives lost, and, you know.
Yeah.
There won't be hardly anyone left.
Yeah, but I like the turn with Damon. Like, did not see that coming.
Yeah, that was nice.
Especially when it actually happened. She came in, she flew up to where Harrenhal to confront Damon.
Mm-hmm.
And Damon's there, and like all these people are kind of at Damon's back, standing behind him. You're like, oh, he's going to tell her, like, look, bitch, I'm the king.
He gathered all the leaders from all those clans or I don't know.
Or whatever, yeah. And lo and behold, he bent the knee and was like, you know what, Rhaenyra, I'm with you, girl.
They just had a marriage fight, and he went and slept on the couch. And then eventually he came back and was like, okay, I'm sorry.
No, he got in the car, by car I mean dragon, and went and hung out with his friends for a little bit.
Yep.
You know, took a break, came back, was like, I'm sorry, babe. I didn't mean to say that. I'll totally fight with you and my dragon. Cool. What's for dinner?
Yes. You are the best thing that has ever happened to me. Right?
Brought like a nice little top for her from JCPenney's. The Game of Thrones version. All right. House of the Dragon
Okay.
season 2. It's good.
It is.
We like. Go
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah.
Moving on to another one of our favorite shows, The Boys.
Yeah.
The Boys season 4. This season got a lot of flack for kind of the big takeaway was a lot of MAGA people didn't realize the show was making fun of them for the last 4 seasons. And they just realized it because it's been almost a literal representation this season of our political situation going on over the last couple years.
Hmm.
And I've read a lot of stuff about how it's not as good of a season. What do you think about that? Do you agree it's not been as good of a season?
Yeah. When you said one of our other favorite shows, I was like, I don't know if this is my favorite show anymore.
All right. Maybe not yours. I like it.
Yeah.
But maybe that's not the case for you, and that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. This season was not as good for me as the last few.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know.
I liked it. I thought it was a little too on the nose, whereas the previous seasons of The Boys was kind of tongue in cheek.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't so blatant with what they were talking about or addressing. But this season, they just kind of took the robe off and like, here it is.
Mm.
And I don't think that's necessarily bad. I think it's just missing some of that nuance that was there as far as like the message and what they're trying to say. There's not a lot of nuance with this show. I mean, there's a bunch of nudity and gross body horror stuff.
And I feel like that's just gotten a little bit over the top. It's just a little bit too much for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It seems like they turn that volume up just a little bit.
Right.
Because they can, Yeah.
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 And I think it's missing a little bit of that wit.
Yeah.
It had like more
Yeah.
kind of moments where you're like, that's funny.
Yes.
In previous seasons. That was there this season, but it just wasn't as like prominent.
Right. There's only a few of those for me.
Yeah. It seemed to be like taking itself, not taking itself more seriously, but being more serious in its execution. If
Sure.
that makes sense. But I don't know. I'm still fascinated by the fact they got Tilda Swinton to voice the octopus that's in love with the deep.
Oh.
I just think that's such an interesting.
I didn't recognize that. That's great.
She's like this, respected actress, and they got her to, and I think it's documented that she's not going to be pigeonholed into anything, so she kind of does her own thing.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of funny to hear Tilda Swinton talk as an octopus that's in love with this human. But all the characters are good. I feel like the Starlight situation was interesting. So Butcher, I'm confused. Like he was dying, but then all of a sudden he's not dying necessarily. He just has like this superpower that has not been unleashed.
Well, I think it was unleashed when he was with interrogating that one dude, and he kind of lost control.
Oh, you mean in the trailer when the stretchy guy caught him?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't see what happened there. Yeah. No, it was unleashed there for sure.
And then I thought we saw other glimpses of it as well. So maybe it's just Butcher as we know him as in his human way is dying, and now this creature that's inside him maybe is going to take over or something. I don't know.
Or is it his body's acclimating to the new powers / we'll call them tentacles?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That maybe I missed that, but it sounded like, I don't know, the whole season it was like, I only got 6 months to live, and
Yeah.
I don't care, and I need to tie up loose ends.
Well, and he was like laying in a hospital bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then in the last episode, he's seemingly fine and then unleashes his tentacles to rip Victoria apart.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Right.
But that episode with Huey and his dad in the hospital, that was probably the highlight of the season. Just the whole, and not from a personal standpoint on my end, but I just thought it was just a really good, well-written episode and showed a lot of humanity and vulnerability. So that was nice. Were you like me? Yeah, I think you were. Tell me if I'm wrong. You were waiting for Huey's mom, excuse me, to make a turn, right?
Yeah, I was waiting for her to reveal that she was a super.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as this season goes, she's not. She's just the mom who wasn't there for him growing up, who wanted to be there when his dad was dying.
Or so we think.
That's what I mean. This season, okay, but we'll see next season.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I didn't think this season was as bad as some of the people were saying it was. Was it the best season of The Boys? Nah. But you still got plenty of good. And I think was missing actually was there wasn't any really good, juicy Homelander stuff. There was like where he just goes ballistic or is frightening. I mean, that one episode where he went back to where the lab where they poked and prodded and put him in the oven and all that.
Yeah.
That was interesting. And you got some pretty gnarly Homelander behavior there. But like the chewing on the scenery type of Homelander was missing.
You know who's scary for me? Sister Sage.
Oh, yeah. The smartest person in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're the smartest person in the world, why wouldn't you just rig everything for yourself to be on top?
Or why wouldn't you put those powers to use for good? When Homelander
or
came
that.
when Homelander came to talk to her, remember he was in street clothes?
Yeah.
She's in her apartment and had all these books, and I got the impression she wasn't doing anything. She just hanging out, learning, getting smart. Like, why wouldn't you go to put your head into a book about curing cancer, and or solving the, Mideast peace, that sort of thing.
World hunger.
Yeah. Instead, and
climate change.
Yeah, maybe I missed what she was doing with her time, but it seemed like she just parked in her apartment reading. If you're literally the smartest person in the world, wouldn't you be applying that to something?
I don't know.
If not philanthropic and beneficial to humanity, something to make a shit ton of money, right?
I don't know. I have no idea what you would do with that. I mean,
you do something you would apply it. What's that old saying? Talent wasted is worse than no talent at all.
I don't know.
I don't know.
You're getting all philosophical here.
I know. It seemed like she was just sitting there just for service of the show. All right, I'm going to sit here because Homelander's going to come get me. Anyway, speaking of Homelander, here he is. This is the last scene of the season 4 where they did their thing. They won. They got who they wanted in the White House so that essentially Homelander could run the country, and he addresses the nation.
Victoria Newman. She's a great American and a dear, dear friend. Murdered in cold blood by deep state starlighters embedded in our own government. Now that we have full legal authority, a veritable army of superheroes will be called upon to rout these traitors from our government and from our streets. America will be safe again. And to the Starlighters, whatever rock you're hiding under, we're coming for you. I'm coming for you.
All right. So they show all the Starlighter and all Huey and all them essentially getting captured by these soups. And so next season, theoretically, it'll be either they're on the run or they're trying to, work a coup, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. Any other thoughts on The Boys season 4?
No.
Okay. All right. Let's wrap it up there, shall we?
Yep.
Yes, indeed. Married with Channels podcast. Usually every week, putting out some talking about TV shows and movies. Married couple. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at MarriedWChans, 2 N's.
Share. Tell your friends.
Absolutely. Until next time, I'm Moose.
And I'm Jody.
We'll see ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.